Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd today talking about Babylon 5. This episode we'll be talking about is The Summoning. But first I want to say something about an article written by Ryan Britt in Inverse, just came out today, talking about the premiere of Babylon 5 on Amazon Prime Video. And in that, they have some better resolution than you can find on the Roku version, which is still available. But at any rate, it does look very good, very fresh, very recently recorded. And it's part of what the article talks about. And what's interesting is the article talked about this show being one that is the least dated of most science fiction that was made during that time. It was made during the 1990s. And yet, over 30 years later, it still looks like it could have been made today. And the article goes on to talk about the fact that the characters are what makes it. You know, the technology, they really don't do too much with. Therefore, you don't have to worry about whether something that they've developed there is going to happen before their time period comes into being. But rather, they have the people who are very normal as people are. They're neither very dark nor in a utopian ideal either. They're just people like people always are. They have their weaknesses, they have their grumbles, they have their obnoxious tendencies. This episode is one of the things that shows it. There is a lot of opposition to Delenn's plan to attack on Z'ha'dum, and a lot of the unaligned worlds are trying to push against there being anything done, whether they're involved or not, with it. And the fact that sometimes mob rule does not give the best solution to a problem is pointed out here. And anyway, I recommend the article. It's an Inverse. You can find it usually in your Apple News feed. If you have Apple, I imagine that you can get through Google News as well. Just search for Inverse, and the Ryan Britt is the writer of that article. It's quite good. But anyway, the personalities are shown in this episode quite well. We see in Veer, one who's always willing to turn the other cheek, this time not so much. We see G'Kar, who holds fast to his honor. And we see how cruel that the Emperor of Centauri Republic can be. We can see how mob rule affects everything in Delenn's plan to strike an attack on Z'ha'dum. And we see in Garibaldi, who has rescued this, I don't think he's giving too much away, that Garibaldi is rescued by Zach, who tracks some kind of freighter where he's been kept prisoner. But right before all the things in this episode happen, he appears to receive some kind of subconscious programming. And this is something we're going to need to watch out for in upcoming episodes. But in the meantime, he seems very much like Garibaldi, who's saying, wait a minute, why should we listen to this? And his continual skepticism about everything that goes on around him is all about Garibaldi. And we find out some things about the Vorlons that may not be just the best things to know. Under Ambassador Kosh, there seemed to be a lot of concern for humanity, and his replacement, who goes unnamed, apparently does not share that idea. And in fact, perhaps most of the Vorlons don't. And so this war that's about to break out, where the good guys are relying on the Vorlons to help them defeat the Shadows, may have some concern as to whose side that they're on. So anyway, we have some very good acting here, especially by Veer and by Londo, and not to mention G'Kar, as they react to what's going on around them, and none really have anything that they can do at this time to stop it. We see also a pretty good portrayal of Emperor Cartagia, who is without any kind of conscience at all, and believes that he's going to be a god and not the good kind. And we also see the usual comic relief out of Ivanova when she points out that she can speak Minbari now, and after throwing a few phrases out and the captioning showing that perhaps she didn't have it down as well as she wanted, and Delenne's remark afterwards, which was very funny. So these things make the episode good, these little moments of lightness in between the points of very high drama here. So I recommend this one to you, and if you can see it on Amazon Prime, it's going to look a whole lot better. But for those of us that still have to watch it on Roku, it's still a good enough story where you don't really care about the visuals all that much. So tomorrow we'll have another episode of Deep Space Nine to review. We'll be talking about the last couple of episodes of Lower Decks later in the week. And of course, as always, if you'll take a look at my retirement channel, Ron on Retirement, I would very much appreciate that. We're trying to build up an audience until we can get it established. So anything you can do, tell a friend. Until then, thank you very much. Don't go far.